what I want to do is write out some slogans so I can get a sense of what slogans we can and can't show without fear of arrest under his new idea. I feel like Rolf Harris. Controversial slogan, bollocks.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm speaking from basically 3 or 4 perspectives. The first perspective is, until very recently...
Hello, I'm Sam Delaney from the BBC. What are your thoughts on what sort of slogans should and shouldn't be allowed at protests these days?
It's very difficult in terms of interpretation as to what is acceptable and not acceptable. And I think what we have started to do in some of our marches is to talk to the communities themselves, you know, whose community members...
Do you think a slogan like that would be acceptable at a political protest?
That's a very complex...
And so that would, something like that, I mean, if it was a political name, who would decide what was and wasn't? Tarek wasn't giving much away, so I thought I'd grab him after the speech.
Perhaps if you get in touch with me and then I can give you some more information, because I'm in charge of public protests in London.
Sure, so we could come and show you some more slogans and what situations under which they'd be acceptable and unacceptable.
Yeah, right? Let's talk about that. Okay. I just need to see.
That would be great. Thanks very much for your time. Cheers. I was looking forward to meeting Tarek again, so I got straight on the phone to set up the interview he'd promised us. Hello, Charlie. It's Sam Delaney here from the BBC. We chased him for weeks, but strangely, he seems to have changed his mind. She said, you can assume that he's comfortable with not giving the interview. He may well have been, but I was starting to feel distinctly uncomfortable. The police were pushing for more and more powers and using them against more and more people. All sorts of serious laws were being used to pick people up on minor offences. And now I was hearing that even terrorism laws were being used against people just for speaking their minds. Henrietta filled me in.
I think there are a lot of people that are concerned about the legal developments in recent years. One is the suggestion that if you object to the government or you engage in political dissent, that you must be sympathetic to terrorists, for example. The idea is that there is this notion that you must be with us or against us. And so we've seen people arrested for essentially engaging in political dissent and saying, I don't agree with the government under the terrorism legislation.
So, were terrorism laws being misused to clamp down our freedom of speech? I was on a mission to find out. The trail led me to this block of flats on the outskirts of London. I had reason to believe that in here lived one of the most notorious men detained under the Terrorism Act of 2000.
Hello.
Hello, Walter.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I'm Sam Delaney.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much. Pleasure to meet you too. And this is the team. 82-year-old Walter Wolfgang is a lifelong member of the Labour Party and has always been a regular at their conferences. But in 2005, during Jack Straw's speech on foreign affairs, Walter found himself unable to control his criminal tendencies.
Then he turned to Iran, and then I just boiled over and shouted nonsense, that was all.
We're in Iraq now for one reason only, to help the legitimate, elected government to build a secure, democratic and stable nation.
And I don't normally heckle, but it just came out.
And two, we can only and will only remain there with their consent.
What was their reasoning for removing you? How did they justify it at the time?
They didn't justify it at all. They didn't say a word. They just tried to lift me out of my seat.
Did you feel scared?
Oh, well, of course I was scared for one thing. Quite likely these guys didn't know the correct grips to lift somebody out of a seat, and God knows what damage they could do.
The man in the next seat, Steve Forrest, shouted out in Walter's defence.
Joking! Let's go. You must be joking! Let's go. Leave me alone! Happy sauce. Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
We want you to leave the premises. We want you to leave the premises.
On what grounds?
Cause an arena.
I'm sorry. You can't make me leave the premises. I've got a right to my views, as Jack has got a right to his.
And what has happened is...
Would you just go with him?
Go with you,
But before Walter could leave the premises, the police stepped in and detained him under the Terrorism Act.
You couldn't meet anyone who looked less like a Muslim fundamentalist terrorist than Walter Wolfgang, could you?
With the whole incident caught on camera, the government issued a rare public apology.
I'm really sorry. That should not happen, not in any circumstances at all. I mean, the Labour Party's apologised to him, the chairman of the Labour Party, I've apologised to him. It shouldn't have happened.
But what Blair forgot to mention was that Walter wasn't the only one. During that conference, the police stopped and searched over 400 other people on the streets of Brighton using terror legislation. Many of them were peace protesters. So what's going on? Public order laws are being used to arrest people for wearing T-shirts, and anti-terror laws are the weapon of choice for beating down political dissent. Were the politicians saying one thing about freedom and doing another?
That's fine, sir. You can make your protests. Just thank goodness we live in a democracy and you can.
Did Walter's experience mean that heckling our politicians was being outlawed? It used to be part of being British.
I would ask you all to extend to our friend the courtesy he is not extending to the meeting.
We wanted to go back to Jack Straw with Walter's heckle without getting arrested in the process. Apparently, there are not one, but 3 laws that could now stop us. Number 1, the Terrorism Act. Number 2, the Public Order Act. And number 3, the Harassment Act. We needed to find a way of getting around all of these laws, and that wasn't easy. Back in our underground bunker, we'd come up with a plan that would make Walter's cry of nonsense legal on all counts.
We've got some socialist singers in who are able to hold the notes, so this is like an elaborate form of protest of heckling. This is like heckling for the 21st century. They're a barbershop quartet, and I'd like to introduce you to them now. Here they come. Just come over here, yeah, give them a round of applause because they're coming down here.
So, this barbershop quartet could hold the heckle in one continuous note, which weirdly made it legal under the Harassment Act.
Nonsense, nonsense,
We chose to sing the heckle to the soothing tune of Rockabye Baby because it was inoffensive and would get us round the Public Order Act. As for the Terrorism Act, well, any harebrained policeman could seemingly interpret that as they chose, so we couldn't really account for that one.
Nonsense. How about that? I mean, it used to be we had the Sex Pistols and people who were able to speak passionately and forthrightly about their political opinions. It seems slightly strange in democracy we've been reduced to singing the word nonsense with a barbershop quartet to the tune of Hush by Baby, but hey, that's the world we're now living in. That's what we've learned about today.
A couple of weeks later, we got word that Jack Straw was giving a speech about democracy in Oxford.
We're geared up for it, we're psyched. I've just had a can of Red Bull. I'm ready to go.
Walter didn't want to repeat his last experience at the hands of the conference heavies, so he gave us his blessing to heckle in his honour.
There's 4 of them. They look like a quartet to me.
I met the boys for a covert briefing first.